काल सत्याय जगन्नाथ सुताय च सबृत्याय सपुत्राय सकलत्राय ते नमः। अवतीर्णौ स कारुण्यौ परिचिन्नौ सदीश्वरौ श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य नित्यानन्दौ द्वौ भ्रातरौ भजे। स जयति विशुद्ध विक्रमः कनकावः कमलायते क्षणः वरजानो विलम्बि सद्भुजो बहुधा भक्तिरसाभिनर्तकः। जयति जयति देव कृष्ण चैतन्य चन्द्रो जयति जयति कीर्तिस्तस्य नित्यपवित्र। जयति जयति भृत्यास्तस्य विश्वेशमूर्ते जयति जयति नृत्यं तस्य सर्वप्रियाणाम्। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा। दंडोत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
यस माता जी।
मैं एक भजन गाऊं क्या? आज
हाँ माता जी।
जगन्नाथ
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा।
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, सब भक्त वृंद की जय, जगन्नाथ बाबा जी की जय। ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर এ দাসে করুণা করি। ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর এ দাসে করুণা করি। দিয়া পদ ছায়া শোধ হে আমারে তোমার চরণ ধরে এ তোমার চরণ ধরি। ছয় বেগদমি ছয় দোষ শোধি ছয় বেগদমি ছয় দোষ শোধি ছয় গুণ দেহ দাসে এ ছয় গুণ দেহ দাসে। ছয় সত সঙ্গ দেহ হে আমারে বসেছি সঙ্গের আসে হে বসেছি সঙ্গের আসে। একাকী আমার নাহি পাই বল একাকী আমার নাহি পাই বল হরি নাম সংকীর্তন ও হরি নাম সংকীর্তন। তুমি কৃপা করি শ্রদ্ধা বিন্দু দিয়া দেহ কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো তোমার সম্মতি আছে তোমার সম্পত্তি আছে। আমি তো কাঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো কাঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি ধাই তব পাছে পাছে ধাই তব পাছে পাছে। ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর এ দাসে করুণা করি। দিয়া পদ ছায়া শোধ হে আমারে দিয়া পদ ছায়া শোধ হে আমারে তোমার চরণ ধরি হে তোমারো চরণ ধরি। হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম হরে রাম, রাম রাম হরে হরে, হরে কৃষ্ণ
Hare Krishna, Krishna
কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ
Krishna,
হরে হরে, হরে রাম হরে
Hare
রাম,
Rama.
রাম রাম হরে হরে। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण माता जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mangalacharan of Chaitanya Bhagavat. आजानुलम्बितभुजौ कनकावदातौ सङ्कीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ। नमस्तिकार सत्याय जगन्नाथाय सुताय च सभृत्याय सपुत्राय सकलत्राय ते नमः। अवतीर्णौ सत्कारुण्यौ परिचिन्नौ सत् ईश्वरौ श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य नित्यानन्दौ द्वौ भ्रातरौ भजे। स जयति विशुद्धविक्रमः कनकावः कमलायति क्षणः वरजानुविलम्बिषड्भुजो बहुधा भक्तिरसा विनर्तकः। जयति जयति देवः कृष्णचैतन्यचन्द्रो जयति जयति कीर्तिस्तस्य नित्या पवित्रा जयति जयति भृत्यास्तस्य विश्वेशमूर्तिर्जयति जयति नृत्यं तस्य सर्वप्रियाणाम्। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So in the 39th verse, very clearly it has been said, one who does not accept Srimad Bhagavatam is no better than a Yavana, and Lord Yamaraj punishes him birth after birth. Then, Ebe keho, 40th verse, Ebe keho napunsaka veshe nache bole balarama rasa kona shastra ache. And there are again faithless people, they are inanchas, napunsakha, they challenge. In which scripture is Balaram's Raslila described? The impersonalists consider the wonderful transcendental Ras Lila of Balaram, who is Lord of all lords, who is the Lord of lords, as uncorroborated by Vedic literatures. The impersonalists, the faithless people, they think that it is not there in the Vedic literatures. Even after giving up material enjoyment, they are unable to enter the transcendental arena of the Ras dance, which is the eternal goal of the pure living entities. Although their mentality is like that of inanchas who unnaturally abstain from sense enjoyment, they are deprived of serving the Lord in any of the 5 types of relationships. So even they may have abstained themselves from sense enjoyment, but still in the 5 rasas they cannot take part. That is why such people are known as inanjas or impersonalist sannyasis. Why? They are challenging the Rasa Leela of Balaram as unauthorized. Kona papi shastra dekhe leha nahi mane ek artha. Bade Prabhuji, please mute your phone. Ek arthe anya artha kariya vakhane. There are some sinful persons who do not accept this pastime even if they read about it in the scriptures. They distort the real meaning of the scriptures into some other meaning. To distort the meaning of the scriptures is cheating and an offense against the holy name. It is impossible to realize the absolute truth with a sinful heart. Faithless persons are always confused when they are when trying to understand the absolute truth. They are blind in attaining their goal of life, and rather than accepting the truth, they distort the meanings of the scriptures. So in 10 Nama Paradhas, it has come. Guru Ravagyaha Shrutishasandanam Tathartavado Harinamni Kalpana. In these three, if you see, first is Guru Avagya, not to follow the instructions of the spiritual master, doubting the spiritual master. So this is aparadha. So such people, they are called faithless people. Then Shruti Shastra Nindanam, trying to understand the absolute truth with our mundane logics. Shruti Shastra Nindanam. It is said bhakti begins where logic ends. We cannot just try to prove so many things we cannot prove with our mundane intelligence. That is why Shruti Shasandanam, there are impersonalists, they are also known as inanchas. But they cannot take part in any of the five rasas. Such in the same way, this impersonalists also cannot take part in the five rasas. They can never become Das of Krishna. They can never become Sakhya of Krishna. They can even not have respect to Krishna. That is how the first rasa, Shanta rasa, at least having respect to Krishna, that also cannot happen. Because they are doubting the scriptures, and the scriptures emanate from Krishna. Vedas are spoken by Krishna, that's why Vedas are known as apaurushya. Not spoken by an ordinary person, they are spoken by Krishna. Tathartavado Harinamni Kalpana. Giving some wrong interpretations to the holy name, giving wrong interpretations to the scriptures, and thinking that this is all Kalpana. All this is nothing but some imagination. So this is known as a sinful tendency. These are all sinful tendencies, and this come in Nama Paradhas. Padma Puran states the Nama Paradhas, 10 Nama Paradhas, in which these are there. Chaitanya Chandrera Priya Vigraha Balai Tanasthani Aparadha More Sarvathani. Nityananda Prabhu is the dearmost object of Sri Chaitanya Chandra. Therefore, anyone who commits an offense at his lotus feet is vanquished. Sri Achyutananda, the son of Advaita Acharya, served Lord Hari under the guidance of Gadadhar Pandit. Although two of Advaita's other sons sometimes accepted the guidance of Lord Chaitanya, there is no mention of the devotion for the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. One of Sri Advaita's son was named Balaram, and his son was Madhusudana. He was particularly affectionate towards the Smarta Raghunandana Bhattacharya, the son of Harihara Bhattacharya of Bandaghat. The son of Madhusudan, Radharamana Bhattacharya, followed the path of Smartas and became faithless towards Nityananda Prabhu. The author of Chaitanya Bhagavat, who is a pure devotee and spiritual master, has perhaps written these verses 38 to 42 with these people in mind. The statements of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur are not inapplicable to the unqualified descendants of Nityananda Prabhu's disciples. That means they are applicable even for the unqualified descendants of Nityananda Prabhu's disciples. So Advaita Acharya's son, Advaita Acharya is, you can see Vishnu Tattva, Sadashiv and Maha Sankarshana or Karanadakshay Vishnu, Mahavishnu. When they come to know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to appear, Krishna is going to appear in the mood of Radharani, they both hug each other. And that incarnation, double incarnation, Sadashiv and Mahavishnu incarnation is Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya appears as an Acharya, actually. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you are my Acharya. Then Advaita Acharya says, no, I am your devotee. I am your disciple. So in this way, Advaita Acharya is completely surrendered to Nityananda Prabhu, Gauranga. But his sons, here the name is there, one of his sons was named as Balaram. His son Madhusudan. And in this way, they were very much attracted to this smartas. That is why they could not appreciate, they became faithless towards Nityananda Baladev. Further, Murti Bhede Apane Hayane Prabhudas Se Sabalakshana Avatariya Prakasha. Now, Lord Balram appears in various forms as a servant of the Lord. He manifests these symptoms in his various incarnations. Lord Balram serves Krishna in all the 5 rasas. So here it is said, he is servant to God, Sevak Bhagavan. Though he is the Vaibhav Prakash of Krishna himself, Krishna appears as Balaram. Krishna's Vaibhav Prakash form is Balaram. But Balaram appears to serve Krishna. And in this way, in his various incarnations, he is manifesting these symptoms of service to Krishna. So now various quotations has been given by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. A wonderful purport, elaborate purport has been given. We are not missing any of the purports because Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, on all Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, when they write the purport, they are doing it for our benefit. That is why purport should not be missed. For the benefit of the readers, we are again quoting the verses written by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the Chaitanya Chaitamrita Adi 5.4 to 5, 8 to 11, 45 to 46, 48, 73 to 74, 76, 80 to 81, 113, 115 to 117, 120 to 121, 123, 125, 134 to 135, 134, 135, 137, 156, where Balaram's glorification has been given. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you want to find Balaram's glorification, these are the verses where Balaram's glorification has happened. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balaram is his second body. They are both one and the same identity. They differ only in form. He is the first bodily expansion of Krishna. He assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. Lord Balaram is the original Sankarshan. He assumes 5 other forms to serve Lord Krishna. He himself helps in the pastime of Lord Krishna. He does the work of creation in 4 other forms. He executes the orders of Lord Krishna in the work of creation and in the form of Lord Shesha. He serves Krishna in various ways. So 5 forms to serve the 5 rasas, 4 forms to help in the work of creation. That is Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sankarshan. So in all the forms, he tastes the transcendental bliss of serving Krishna. That same Balaram is Nityananda, the companion of Gaur Sundar. There is one marginal potency known as Jiva. Mahasankarshan is the shelter of all Jivas. So Balaram is the expansion of Krishna. When the Shivaratri day, we had taken this class in Boisar. Lord Krishna appears as Balaram. Balaram expands as Balaram. Balaram expands into 4 vyuhas. That is Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sankarshana. From Sankarshana, again 4 expansion, quadruple expansions. And in this way, it goes on till Sankarshana. The last Sankarshana is Mahasankarshana. Now, Mahasankarshana is the shelter of all jivas. Now, Mahasankarshana expands again in 2 forms, Sadashiva and Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is also Karnadakshayi Vishnu. Now, Karnadakshayi Vishnu takes these jivas and infuses along with Kala Shakti in the Mahat Tattva. When he infuses, then to help that, Sadashiv takes a form of Shambhu. So that is how the impregnation happens, Linga and the Yoni. And then various creation happens, and at that time in every Brahmanda, Lord Vishnu is entering as Garbhadakshayi Vishnu. And from the navel of Garbhadakshayi Vishnu, Brahma appears. And from the Brukuti of Brahma, same Shambhu now appears as Lord Shiva. So in this way, for the creation, technically what has been told, for the creation, Balaram appears as Mahasankarshana. Mahasankarshana is a shelter of all the jivas. Sankarshana is the original shelter of the Purusha. All three Purushas appear from Mahasankarshana, from whom this world is created and in whom it is dissolved. That Sankarshana, who is transcendental pure goodness, is a partial expansion of Nityananda Balaram. Sri Balaram is the counter form of Lord Govinda. Balaram's own expansion is called Mahasankarshana, and it's a fragment. The Purusha is counted as a Kala Avatara. So we have Kalas, or a part of the plenary portion. So what are those Kala Avataras? That is Purusha Avataras. They are all Kala Avataras. Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Karvadakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Shirodakshay Vishnu. They are all called Purushas. They are all plenary portion. Now, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Shirodakshay Vishnu, they are the plenary portion of Karvadakshay Vishnu, the first Purusha, who is abode of all universes. That Purusha, Shirodakshay Vishnu, who is a Paramatma, sitting in everyone's heart, is a performer of creation, maintenance, destruction. He manifests himself in many incarnations, for he is a maintainer of the world. That fragment of Mahapurusha, who appears for the purpose of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, is called an incarnation. In the ages and millenniums of Manu, he appears as different incarnations to establish the real principles of real religion and vanquish the principles of irreligion. So all the avatars, how they appear? They appear from Mahapurusha. They are appearing from Mahapurusha. So that is how Shirodakshay Vishnu, he appears in different incarnations. Krishna is not considered as an incarnation. Krishna is the source of all incarnations. He is Avatari. Why Lord appears in different forms? Mahavishnu appears in different incarnations. Yada yada dharmasya glanir-bhavati bharata apyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam sujamiham. Where there is rise of irreligion, where there is decline of religiosity, then Lord appears. So what is that irreligion, and what is the meaning of establishing or decline of religious principles? The decline of religious principles means 4 activities are not there. What is that 4 activities? Shrottavyaha, Kirtitavyascha, Dheya, Pujasyascha. When these 4 activities are declined, Lord has to appear. That is Shrottavyaha, hearing about Lord. Kirtitavyascha, glorifying Lord. Pujasyascha, worshipping Him. Dheyascha, meditating upon Him. If these 4 things are not done, that place is actually irreligion, or it is giving rise to irreligion, because religious principles are not established, which is based on these 4. Where hearing, chanting, nothing happens. All are into modernization. Now you can see the condition of the people. So much of war, so much of killing. Why? Because of the forgetfulness of Lord. They have forgotten Lord. That is why all these things are happening. And what is the meaning of rise to irreligion? Rising irreligion? Again, 4 basic principles are not taken care. That is non-violence, purity, austerity, truthfulness. These 4 things are not taken care. Indiscriminate killing of the animals for sense gratification. Blowing words on each other. Again, that is insulting each other. There's also rise of irreligion. Non-violence, that is the rise of violence. Violent activity. When you say violence, violence is of 3 kinds. Violence, gross violence, mental violence, and by words, by speech. So one can be violent by speech, speak some harsh words, and one can be violent by their action, and one can be violent in their thoughts. But this all can be removed if we take up to religiosity. That is, Shrottavyaha, Kirtitavyascha, Dheya, Pujasyascha. Now, similarly, if you see the second reason for the rise of irreligion, that is falsity or lack of truthfulness. There is only one absolute truth, that is to accept Lord Krishna as a supreme. Where a person doesn't do that on the name of communism or whatever you can say, capitalism, communism, whatever you say, nationalists, the people who fight for nationalists, all this is going away from the real truth. The real truth is Krishna is absolute Lord, and we are all servants of Lord. So in this way, again these four principles, that is Shottavya, Kirtitavya, Shadheya, Pujascha, will bring back a person from falsity to truthfulness. Then illicit sex, the purity is gone. Free mingling of the ladies and the men. It's a wrong thing. Free mingling of the girls and the boys. The pride, the ahankara, the ego. Today the world is suffering. We can see how the ego has brought so many innocent people also to die. There is an anxiety created just because of the ego problem. And what is that ego? Ego is nothing but it is another swarupa of illicit sex. The purity is gone. Because there is a false ego. If there would have been a true ego that I am servant of Krishna, everything would have been peaceful. There is only one solution, that is taking up Krishna consciousness. Austerity, again. Lack of austerity. Lack of tapasya. Somebody was telling Mataji, my son remains awake at night. Morning doesn't get up. There are so many who are suffering. There are devotees' children also who are suffering with this. Why? Early morning is for waking up and chanting the holy name. Some children go on studying at night. Some children watch movies at night. Some children like to chant at night. But all these things, again, chanting at night is wonderful. But morning hours are for waking up. If you are able to stay awake at night and chant, and also in the morning also wake up and chant, then no problem. But we are not at that platform of Goswamis who used to sleep only for, sometimes they used to not sleep also. So our health only will be right. That is why our Acharya has given us certain injunctions or certain things to follow, rules and regulations to follow. Because they know what is this type of rice, how much water to be put. Today we'll do, tomorrow we'll not do. So when our acharyas have suggested us certain things, we should just follow that. And acharyas have given from Shastras. Even in our English text, we read this: early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy and wise. Why not follow? We don't follow that. So because of this, tapasya is also lost. So that is why again all these four principles, Shottavya, Kirtitavya, Shadheya, Pujascha, Nitya. The puja is not done at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Lord's puja is done before even the sun rises, at least when the sun rises, or at least some minutes after the sun rises, but not very late afternoons. So in this way, we have to follow the principles. Further. So Ananta Shesha, what he does, what is his work? The same Nityananda appears as Ananta Shesha. He holds the planets upon his heads. Although he does not know where they are, for he cannot feel their existence upon his head. So Nityananda Prabhu is Balram. He appears in different incarnations also for establishing the religion and vanquishing the principles of irreligion. He then descends to maintain the material world. His unlimited opulences cannot be counted. The Lord Vishnu is but a part and parcel of a plenary portion of Nityananda, who is the source of all incarnations, Gudavataras. That is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Again, they are the plenary portions of Nityananda. That same Lord Vishnu in the form of Shesha holds the planets upon his head, although he does not know where they are, for he cannot feel their existence upon his head, because they are like the mustard seeds. Like if you hold mustard seed on your head, you will not understand how many mustard seeds you have kept, one or two or three. That Anantashesha is the devotee incarnation of Godhead. He knows nothing but service to Lord Krishna. With his thousands of mounts, he sings the glories of Lord Krishna. So his work is glorifying, the glorifying potency Anantashesha, Ananta. But although he always sings in that way, he does not find an end to the qualities of the Lord. Same Ananta appears as Ramanujacharya, glorifying potency of Lord. He serves Lord Krishna assuming all forms: umbrella, slippers, bedding, pillow, garments, resting chair, residence, sacred thread, and throne. He is thus called Lord Shesha, for he has attained the ultimate end of servitude to Krishna. So Ananta holding the universes, glorifying the Lord with his thousand mouths. Shesha means whatever left over, whatever till the end, whatever service is there, everything is done by Shesha. He takes many forms for the service of Krishna, and thus he serves the Lord. That person of whom Lord Ananta is a kala or part of a plenary part is Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who therefore can know the past tense of Lord Nityananda. Thus, Lord Nityananda has unlimited incarnations. In transcendental emotion, he calls himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Sometimes he serves Lord Chaitanya as his guru, sometimes as his friend, sometimes as his servant. Just as Lord Balaram played with Lord Krishna in these three different modes in Braja, he considers himself a servant and knows Krishna to be his master. Thus, he regards himself as a fragment of his plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the same Lord Krishna and Lord Nityananda is Balaram. Lord Nityananda fulfills all of Chaitanya's desires. So in this way, sometimes he is like a friend, he's a servant, he plays with Krishna, he's a sakha. In some editions, the word Lakshana appears as Lakshmana, in which case the second sentence would read, this is demonstrated in his incarnations, Lakshmana. So same Nityananda is Lakshmana, same Nityananda is Balaram. As explained in Chaitanya Chaitamrita 5.1, 149 to 154, Lord Nityananda Swarupaha formerly appeared as Lakshmana and served Lord Ramchandra as his younger brother. The activities of Lord Ram were full of suffering, but Lakshmana of his own accord tolerated their suffering. As a younger brother, he could not stop Lord Rama from his resolution, and so he remained silent, although unhappy in his mind. When Lord Krishna appeared, Balaram became his elder brother to serve him to his heart's content and make him enjoy all sorts of happiness. Sri Ram and Sri Lakshmana, who are plenary portion of Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, entered into them at the time of Krishna and Balaram's appearance. Lord Krishna and Balaram present themselves as elder and younger brother, but in the scriptures they are described as the original supreme personality of Godhead and his expansion. So in this way, elaborately, the activities of Balaram, how he serves Lord in different rasas has been given. Same Balaram appears as Ananga Manjari to serve Krishna in Madhurya Rasa. Sometimes he plays the role of elder brother, sometimes he plays the role of a sakha, sometimes as a servant, sometimes in the Shantarasa. So the ornaments, beds, sleepers, they are all the expansion of Balaram. So in this way, Balaram serves Krishna in all the five rasas. For the creation, he again expands into four quadruple expansions, Vasudeva Pradyumna Anuruddha Sankarshan, and from Mahashankarshan, three Purushas, and the last Purusha, that is Purushavatara, Sridakshay Vishnu. From Sridakshay Vishnu, there are avatars which appear. So these avatars appear to establish the principles of religion and vanquish the principles of irreligion. So in this way, this whole creation, in a summary, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives us. So any question? Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam. So Mataji, Rudra is the expansion of whom, Mataji?
रुद्र ना,
हाँ माताजी.
सदाशिव वही शिव जी बाद में रुद्र लेते हैं, रुद्र रूप लेते हैं.
ओके.
जिसमें हनुमान भी आते, वो भी रुद्र रूप में आते.
ओके.
शिव जी के बाद में जो भी एक्सपेंशन है कोई कोई कार्य करने के लिए, तो वो रुद्र रूप. लेकिन सदाशिव जो है ये विष्णु तत्व में आते हैं, लिंग के रूप में शंभु है. वही शंभु शिव जी जब भागवत बोलते हैं और कोई कोई चीज अगर डिस्ट्रक्शन करना है तो रुद्र रूप धारण करते.
मतलब तांडव
एक
नृत्य
रुद्र-
उन्होंने किया था माताजी.
तांडव नृत्य दो मीनिंग. एक तो नृत्य करते भी है जीवों को आनंद देने के लिए, कृष्ण को आनंद देने के लिए. एक जब दक्ष जब बहुत गुस्सा आ जाता है, सती ने जब अपने शरीर को त्यागा, तब भी उन्होंने तांडव किया. उस तांडव से उन्होंने सब जगह हाहाकार मचा दिया. तो एक है नटराज, और जहाँ भगवान की प्रसन्नता के लिए नाच रहे हैं और भक्तों को प्रसन्न देने के लिए, वो है शांत स्वरूप जिसमें नटराज नृत्य करते हैं. एक होता है तांडव नृत्य. ठीक है.
ओके माताजी. थैंक यू माताजी. दंडवत प्रणाम.
Any other question? Jagannath Das Baba's. So read the whole thing in the group and I am putting that. Please read, go through it. Hare Krishna.
श्योर माताजी.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much.